always a lovely time to have you join us on the show. It is Prime Woman on NTA. My name is Elizabeth, and today I'm going to be showcasing a guest that is absolutely exceptional. She's climbed a lot of ladders. She's done so much for the society. And very importantly, do I give this away? No. When we come back. Is a lawyer by profession, who has become deputy governor of her state, Anambra, in the southern east part of Nigeria. She holds a master's degree in corporate finance law and professional certificates in microfinance banking, a certified mediator and a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Mediators, a member of the advisory board of the institution or Institute of Leadership and Governance, and the very first vice president of Ambassadors of Peace in Nigeria. My guest today is none other than Her Excellency, Mrs. or Barrister if you choose. She is everything. She has other titles, but I'll get to add them as we go on. She is Stella Odife. Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you. And I know when I walked in here, there was a whole lot of exuberance, healthy, energetic person. And I'm like, somebody whispered, do you know she's going to be 75? I said, no, she can't be 75. Where do you get this energy, Before I could walk, you already jumped. Where do you get your energy from?
Wow. Too many things. The people like you, like my other daughter, they keep me going. I love friends. I love company. I don't like being alone anytime, And I take things very easy, very, very easy. Nothing bothers me. I try to weed off anything that keep me uncomfortable for more than an hour. I find it difficult to entertain.
That's nice. And I'm glad that at the point here, you know when to actually worried and want to remove it, but it's very difficult. Yeah. You were deputy governor of your state, that's Anambra State, and you ran with Barr at the time. It was short-lived before and when we heard the news of, I didn't know because you're a woman. I was delighted. I was glad, and I look forward to your tenure. It was short-lived, and we've heard all manner of stories, and we've listened to all sorts. But now I'm seated with you. I'd like to hear it straight up. Not that you're a horse, but from the horse's mouth.
I'll give you just a very brief explanation. P2B was struggling for his tenure, which he claimed Ngige used up. Governor, His Excellency Ngige used. And that Ngige was there for about 3 and some years. And then we never took it serious because it had nothing to do with our own coming in. Ours was a fresh election conducted, not even Peter, not running with him to say he lost the election. We were on our own. So it didn't mean anything to us. He went to court to ask Supreme Court that his tenure was used, and that part of his tenure he did not complete. They should allow him to complete his tenure. For any enlightened soul in a more reasonable or sane society, a governor cannot come and say his tenure. Was working when he was away. And so it wasn't a vacuum. Somebody was there. Unless he's trying to tell us that all the contracts, all the achievements made by the other person should also be thrown away. So that was why people like us, we didn't see it coming. We had our election, we won the election, we were sworn in with one of the best fanfares you can think of in the country, because my boss, Barr, is a very cool person, but articulate and classy. So our inauguration was one of the best in the country. There was no mistake about it. And we took off nicely. And along the line there, we just heard the Supreme Court had given verdict that Peter Obi should complete his term.
What was the reaction for you when you heard it? Just curious.
To be honest to you, nothing bothers me. You will be surprised. I go back again to what I said. I have a very comfortable home. I had a fantastic husband who was solidly behind me. He was my rock. So politics, success, whether position is there or not, I had a fallback, a very comfortable fallback. It was a surprise to us. First of all, it was a surprise to us. But we thought maybe after that was used up by him. But as soon as Peter got in and we were off, other state governments started cashing on that faulty judgment. Governors now will allow somebody, after being in office for about 6 months or 1 year, you will see they'll go to court and say,
I did not finish my
I
term.
did not, somebody, you did something, we're in court, and then he will say the tenure will start. So they were now spending more time instead of the 4 years. So again,
that's why perhaps we have a lot of
scattered election today.
Yes.
That
so
was what brought.
That
is what brought it. Okay. That is what brought us scattered election today. And they now saw that they were losing. The court now saw that it was not fair and decided to make it peculiar. That judgment became peculiar to Anambra State. It couldn't be used anywhere else till tomorrow.
Politics has never been a bed of roses for anybody. And for the women, it's even double the problem. And here you are as a woman, you know, you've gone into it, you've been very successful to my own rating. Were you not afraid? I am, particularly very scared of going into that terrain. What was that thing propelling you to, get into it and get it done?
Unfortunately, what is happening now, there is no altar of service behind political adventure. People now go in for the purpose of acquiring the position and to make money. Make money for themselves, their family. And then whatever comes out of it for the people, so be it. But in real time, when you go back to our forefathers, it was service. If you are trying to serve and somebody is saying no, you give way. Service. I had money in my house. I was a very comfortable woman going into politics. It wasn't to go and embezzle. I wanted to prove a point. I wanted to serve and serve my people. So the problem we have in politics today, it has left service. Politics is just a game of making money, not service-oriented. We should find a way of having service-oriented politics. And we cannot have it under the same structure we have now, where we have money politics. See how much you need to secure a form for the positions in the key political parties. We must remove money from politics if we want to get service-oriented politicians. Assuming now we say that senators will be earning like palm sex, not more than any director in the ministry, federal government, federal house, I bet you 90% now will be women, not men, because the money won't be enough again. It won't be attractive again.
Are you telling me this is the reason why we have more women in public service?
That is it. Before, even in teaching profession, we used to have men, but when things were changing, and they saw that there are better things outside than the civil service, especially teaching. They left it. That's how we have more women in civil service today than men. We must reduce what they're taking. Let us reduce them. They are not more educated than the professors, our doctors, our engineers, who are struggling to survive in the system. For goodness sake. That's what makes it a war, to go there and grab.
True. Usually the higher the stake, the harder the climbing.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you're explaining to us. Now, I know that when you moved off, your political, terrain in Anambra, you didn't just stop. You have your, you've been very loud with your activities for our gender, the female gender. You have your initiative, which is the registered NGO, WOJI. Let me know, MT, just share with us, what does WOJI do?
I think I missed the road by not even starting from here. After my legal profession, let me tell you my history. I did education, first degree.
Wow, you're a teacher?
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
And I did it then because it was so advantageous for me and my family. My husband was in the banking sector. My children needed attention. The work that could give me that time to look after my kids very well, we saw it as teaching. So and what is going on in the home. So, but as they started growing, I started finding myself a little bit free. I now decided to go and do law. And this is about 30 years now. So I went back and read law. When I came out,
was it difficult to go back to school at that point?
No. I was enjoying it, actually. Oh, wow. I enjoyed it. My children would go to school, I go to school. So when I came out, I now found out that the law opened my eyes to a lot of things. And then I had this feeling of helping the downtrodden. And then the widows, of which I lost my mom early. So I knew a lot of widows back home who were going through a lot of things. And the legal profession, when I was doing my law, I read family law as part of, it must be there, as part of my courses. So it opened up my eyes. I said, how do I help these people? So one of the Christmas, we were to go home. My husband gave me big lump sum money to go and shop. So instead of using, I bought Ankaras and the other cheap things I was going to distribute at home. He said, oh my God. He didn't tell me immediately. Then after that, he now reinforced me. Then I told him that he said, the best thing you do is to form an NGO so that you have an organization that can take care of that. I said, there you are. I now went and registered WOJI. Meanwhile, I now started doing the NGO work. It was now when I entered the NGO work to help people that I saw that there were so many people really suffering and they needed help. And from seeing so many people suffering, you say, how do I help them more? Because I don't have enough. I said, only a government can come to the rescue of these people.
That's what forms.
That was how I entered politics. From personal gift, I saw it was not enough. What I have is not enough to take care of my family and those around me. Now, how do I help them to have health care, women, to not come and beg for medicine, money for drugs? How do I help the children that want to go to school? How do I help them go to school? How can I stop people going to fetch water from the stream? These are the critical factors. I said, the only way I can do it is by going into politics. And then the women, each time we had our WOJI workshop, we begged me, people like you should go into politics. Please, we need you there. Then my husband said, you have my blessing. That's how I got into politics. When I was now looking for a way to help the larger society.
People, and I see
larger society.
You've done it so wonderfully well that you actually earned yourself a title in you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest titles you can give to a woman.
Yeah.
A real mom. In my place, Inyom means, a very solid mother, a very solid woman. Yeah. And it's well deserving for you. Now, talking about mother and mom, you are everything, family, lawyer, politician, and you've been very good at them all. But I'd like to know, how do you juggle it without, cheating one arm of you or the other?
Well, like I told you, that the teaching career gave me that opportunity, and things were not as it is today.
Sure.
Roles were well defined. By the time I entered politics, there was none of my kids in primary school. They were all gone now. 2 in boarding house, secondary school, the other 2 in the university, because there was a big gap.
Okay, were you ever at any point scared of media? You know how media can run people down negatively. They write things about you that you look at it, you look in the mirror, is that me? Is that not me? How do you handle media criticism?
It's so funny, I was lucky. My husband had built a good reputation. So when I call him my rock, you can understand where I was coming from. He made a name, a clean, good name. So it was easy to carry. When they say, oh, is that man's wife? Out of the love they have for the man, they had it also for me. So I was never scared. And they know whom I had behind. And let me tell you the truth. It's not easy for men to come and mess around you when they know you have a solid man behind you. It's not easy. I don't need their money. I don't need anything from them. And
so you didn't have any kind of sexual harassment as a politician?
Not me. Okay. What I had, if you want me to tell you now, women, we suffer a lot of, apart from the sexual, there was a gender harassment. Should we have? What I suffered was gender harassment, not allowing women to be part of leadership. And they indoctrinate the local women. They are the rock, the foundation for our movement. Mm-hmm. They indoctrinate them, and the culture have told them that we women shouldn't be in politics, that the men should go. So it is so difficult to break that barrier. Women, we have a lot of obstacles, but we have really surmounted them gradually.
A lot of Let me leave you and away from it. Are you still practicing law?
Yes, I do.
I know the Odife firm is still,
I do privately.
That's a good one. As a mediator.
Yeah, I do privately.
That's a good one. Now, I know that beyond work, beyond politics, you're a mother, which you've touched a little bit. I also know you're a sportsman. You had something to do with tennis international?
Yeah, wow. Okay. That's a good one. Let me tell them. I was the national champion for table tennis for girls under 18.
Wow, yeah. Under 18?
Yeah, okay. In this country. And then the Eastern Nigerian champion, I held the position for all women, Eastern Nigerian champion.
Whether big or small?
Small, all of them combined at a certain time. And then, what is it again? And West Africa, we had the one championship in West Africa. We were also the champion.
That's a good one. You're a president all round for tennis. That's a good one. That explains why I see the agility. Yeah. At your age, when I was talking, you moved where I wanted to move, like you almost tripped, but not the same. It explains because you built it over time. Do you still play tennis, and what do you do for relaxation?
No, I really don't play all the time, but I do remember wherever I go and I see table tennis, I play. But that's just the only way I do it. But at this age, I see myself doing more intellectual work than play physical exercise. But knowing that I need to use my leg Occasionally, I have to take a walk. But most of the time, if you come near me, I'm either writing or reading. It's a habit. I used to tease him and said, if you will see you as one of those mad people who are always writing, you see them 24 hours writing, because the guy was a bookworm.
You know, I'm sure the way you call your husband, I'm sure if there's reincarnation, you still marry the same guy.
Not only this, will I marry him? I told him maybe I'll come back as a she will be now, I'll marry. Then he said, sure up, I will be the one to marry you. He was he's an exemplary husband.
Okay, that's the prayer we always pray for every woman, including our children. It's Women's Day, really, and not Women's Day particularly. It's Women's Month, and we celebrate ourselves, whether or not anybody likes it. So, our own personal month. What is your message for a lot of us, who are watching at the moment?
I have an NGO that I'm hoping I'll be able to talk to them. There's still hope, but we'll have to find a way to break this ceiling. It's very disheartening that from nine members in the Senate, when we thought we were not doing well, we've been reduced to 4. Also, you go to the federal house. Also, when you go to the state level, women are decreasing in leadership position. It's not a comfortable thing. So we must do something. Women must do something. Find out what is the problem. I am telling you now, for me, the problem is money politics. We must keep advocating that we must stop money politics. In the US, in the advanced countries, it's no money politics. Integrity, character, and what you have. And for Nigeria, because of the way we are, we must reduce the benefits attached to those positions. Make it a little bit unattractive. Make it like a civil service work. We will find ourselves, we soon then will start competing equally. The men must understand the message, one key message. We are, let's say Nigeria, you say we are 250 million people. Out of the 250 million people, half are women, half men. Out of the 50% we are giving men, youths who are not capable of working, contributing, will take at least 10 or 20%. Old men who are physically now handicapped, they are not contributing, let us give them 20%. If you add the 10 and 20, you have 30. When you have 30 out of 50, what is left? 20. The men want to be working with 20% to feed 250 people. Is it possible? Because they have already pushed the women aside. And they think with their half in number population, they can control us. They forgot that there are handicaps on their own side. So they must make sure that they also tap into the vibrant women to join with the vibrant men to work and feed us. Women must not look back. We keep fighting them. We must keep challenging the men.
We'll keep collaborating with them, not fighting them.
And we must, because they have refused.
We'll just apply a little bit.
We'll apply, okay, I accept now. We will collaborate with them. But where they refuse, we challenge them.
Okay.
We collaborate. If they refuse, we challenge them.
That's the way to go. Thank you very much.
You.
We've been talking to a lovely woman. I almost don't want to end this, but I have to go. I have learned a whole lot. And if you ask me what I took out now is ability to, turn my lemon into lemonade, perseverance, and always seeing the brighter side of things, keeping myself happy, because that way I can get to be your age and be as healthy as you are. The show is Prime Woman. We'll see you again next